In this project, we're going to be talking about the history of Mardi Gras and Carnival and Mardi Gras masks. So, within it, we're going to talk about how art is a part of our larger cultural customs and traditions, including religion, and how art is used to establish our identity within our society, and how art can help us break social barriers within our society. So the vocabulary is Mardi Gras, Carnival, Lent, identity, commedia dell'arte, exaggerated, grotesque, features, texture, surface design, paper twisting, crumpling, quilling, gilding, and decoration. So what is Mardi Gras? You've probably heard of it before. You may not have. So Mardi Gras is a celebration. It means Fat Tuesday, so it's a part of a religious celebration. It's a day of celebration, as I mentioned, parades and costume parties. It's happened since the medieval times, around 1200. So people on Fat Tuesday began eating all of the animal products, the meat, milk, and cheese in their house because they wanted to have them out of the way to give up for the Lent period, which began the day after on Ash Wednesday. Um, Lent is a time of fasting and prayer and a time when they don't eat animal products. So Mardi Gras was really kind of the last day before people had to be good. So it allowed them to break social rules, act up a little bit, and really feast before that holy period and fasting starting on Ash Wednesday. So here's a little clip of the Mardi Gras parade in New Orleans. So as you can see, Mardi Gras is a religious holiday, but it really is a celebration, including art and music, where people parade through the streets, sometimes on elaborate floats and costume, and people really have a good time before the holy period. So, I don't know if you've heard of Carnival, but it's very similar to Mardi Gras. So, what's the difference between Carnival and Mardi Gras? So, Carnival is a tradition that's celebrated in many countries, especially European countries, but also in the Caribbean. It's celebrated really all over the world. So, Carnival and Mardi Gras are actually the same celebration, but Carnival season lasts for a longer period of time. Some say that Carnival season really begins just right after Christmas, all the way until Ash Wednesday when Lent begins. But some places only celebrate just Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, like we do in the United States. And Mardi Gras is really the last day of Carnival before Ash Wednesday. So the tradition is different depending on each country and their cultures. So each country celebrates really differently depending on the dominant religion of the country. So Christianity is the dominant religion in many countries. It doesn't mean that it is the only religion or the right religion, but there are many people within that area who celebrate it. So Carnival is primarily celebrated in Catholic dominant countries. Like Spain is one, many of the European countries like Italy. Whereas Mardi Gras is more so celebrated in places that have faiths like Protestantism, Methodists, Anglicans, like we do here in the United States. So why are masks important for Mardi Gras? Well, Mardi Gras masks are important because it's the last day for those who celebrate their tradition of Lent and of the Christian faith, for them to kind of be wild before Lent and Ash Wednesday. So this common wildness that would happen on Mardi Gras could be like food fights, mockery of authorities. So like kind of picking on cops and things. Exaggerated and grotesque. So exaggerated means like blown out of proportion. And grotesque means like comically or repulsively ugly and distorted costumes. So if you look at these pictures over here to the right, if we were in person, I would say, where do you see some exaggerated features? And I think maybe the most obvious ones to me are like these big noses on the king and the queen. This could even have a political message. And if you look at these ones up here, they're pretty like grotesque and exaggerated. I think the baby is grotesque because he's a little bit, he's definitely comically distorted. Some might say repulsive. I like him. He's got a cute little smile. So it's a general reversal. Mardi Gras is a reversal of the everyday rules and norms. So why would we want a mask for that? I mean, if we were together, I would have you discuss this. Just think to yourself, why might you want a mask if you're acting up and doing things that are outside of the social norms? Well, that's because you would want to hide your real identity. You wouldn't want them to know that it was you acting out so that in normal life they would say, oh, look what so-and-so did. You would definitely want to be hidden in some way. So another thing about masks, another reason you'd want it other than being anonymous would be for parties such as masquerade balls. So masquerade parties have always been an important of Carnival and Mardi Gras, important part of Carnival and Mardi Gras, because it really allowed for a day of freedom from social restrictions due to wealth or poverty. So in the past, rich people and poor people couldn't really hang out with each other or mingle. There was a very distinct social class separation. So Mardi Gras was like one of the only days where these two classes, the upper class and the lower class, could freely mingle. And at the masquerade parties, people from all classes would be there in masks. So it kind of broke that social barrier because you really didn't know who was who and where they came from. So that would be a big thing, especially if you were in the lower class and you rarely got a chance to see what life was like outside of it. So here's a little idea of what a masquerade party might look like. So if you look around, you can see lots of different types of masks. This is from The Labyrinth, one of my favorite childhood movies. It's a pretty weird movie. There's David Bowie in a creepy mask. So I won't show all of this, but really I just wanted you to kind of see the variety of masks. So I'm going to skip past their staring at each other. Da-da-da. You see lots of different mask types, people acting outrageous. So you get an idea. So my baby wants in the room, so you might hear that banging. All right. So masks during Mardi Gras and the wearing of them began in Venice, Italy. So the tradition of masks can be traced back to Venice. The Venice Carnival as early as 1400. So the mask wearing also inspired many Greek theaters and Italian theaters, especially one called Commedia dell'arte, which was popular from the 1500s to the 1700s. So the characters in the Commedia dell'arte, they wear the masks that are associated with certain personality types. So the masks themselves started to kind of take on certain identity roles.
Since February's project is Venetian masks, and Brenda's doing a fabulous job over at the how-to section, showing you how to make one, I thought there would be no better place to start than teaching you all about the history of the Venetian mask and the Venetian Carnival. Let's get started, shall we? The Carnival of Venice, or Carnevale di Venezia, is an annual festival held in Venice, Italy. The carnival ends with the Christian celebration of Lent. It's said that the Carnival of Venice was started from the victory of the Serenissima Repubblica. And if I pronounce that wrong, I'd like to remind you, I am not Italian. In honor of the victory, the people started to dance and celebrate in San Marco Square. Masks have always been an important feature in the Venetian Carnival. The first documented source mentioning the use of masks in Venice can also be found as far back as the 13th century. Several different styles of masks were worn in the Venetian carnivals, and each of these masks have their own individual name and were worn by unique people with unique occupations. The bauta, often accompanied by a red or black cape and a tricorn hat, in the 18th century became a standardized society mask and a disguise regular by the Venetian government. The colombina began as a woman's analog to the bauta, though now it is adorned by men and women alike. There are no historic paintings depicting its use on the stage or in social life, leading us to believe that it is an entirely modern creation. The plague doctor did not start out as a carnival mask at all, but as a method of preventing the spread of disease. The striking design originated from the 17th century French physician Charles Delorme, who adopted the mask together with other sanitary precautions while treating plague victims. Volto is the iconic modern Venetian mask. It is often stark white, though frequently gilded and decorated. It is commonly worn also with a tricorn and a cloak. I hope that gives you a little more inspiration to making your mask. And if there's a mask I didn't mention, feel free to comment below.
So you see all the different kind of characters and identities that started to form around the different masks. So some types of Mardi Gras masks are the bauta, the colombina, medico del peste, volto, pantalone, arlecchino, zani, naga, and moretta. So we'll go over some of these. So the bauta is a full mask. It covers your whole face. It has a squarish jaw, a big chin, but no mouth. It does have a nose. And it's usually gilded or stark white. So gilded means that it looks like it's made from metal. It was historically required at political events to hide the wearer's identity, making them anonymous. So the the colombina mask, as we saw in the video, it's a type of domino mask. So that means that it just only covers around your eyes. It's a half mask. It's named after the maidservant in the Italian Renaissance theater Commedia dell'arte, as I mentioned earlier. So Medico della Peste. So this one's pretty creepy, I think. It has a really long, hollow beak, round eyes, usually simple in design. As you saw in that video, for some reason, it had like these little clawed fingers. I think it would be super creepy to have someone like that be your doctor. It was worn by plague doctors and stuffed with herbs in the nose to try to prevent the spread of the plague to the doctor when they treated patients. So the volto, it covers your whole face. It's a full mask and it has human features. It looks like a human face. So typically they're made of porcelain. They have human noses and human lips. They look realistic. It's just another way of being completely anonymous because it covers your whole face. And then the pantalone has exaggerated features, as we talked about earlier, and I would say grotesque in a way because they're kind of repulsive. So it has a giant nose. So this character in the Italian theater, Pantalone, was considered to be kind of witty, intelligent. And then there's Arlecchino. So he's like the Joker, really colorful. He has a short upturned nose and high arched brows. He's kind of like the prototype for a clown, our modern clowns. Usually, and sometimes the masks include a large headpiece or a collar with bells on it. He's another character from the Italian theater. He doesn't use any reason, and he's like a total prankster. So Zanni is like even a step below that. He's considered to be like the superest, goofiest mask possible, like just total like jokester, like no content beyond that. So if we were in class, I would say, what exaggerated feature makes up this mask? And I think it's pretty obvious. It's that really like grotesque, giant beak-like nose. So the last one I'll talk about is the naga. So the naga, I think, is fun and probably one I would want to do in real life. So the wearer of the naga wears the masks and kind of acts like a mama cat. So they carry around a basket with a cat in it, and they make cat noises like meow, meow. So that's primarily what that costume is. You're just a big cat. So a lot of Mardi Gras masks that you'll see say in the United States in New Orleans is a variation of all of these. But in Mardi Gras, they try to keep them like the same three colors, gold, purple, and green, meaning power, justice, and what is the last one? Faith. Um, so yeah, they're kind of a variation in those colors. A lot, usually, they can be simpler. They have a lot of feathers. So if masks hide our identity and they express certain personality types, then why else are they important? So they're hiding our real identity, but expressing a different identity. Well, they allow us to kind of create our own identity for a day. We no longer are in, say, the lower class or the upper class. We're just who we are for that one day. And we get to express it through the mask that we choose. So we get to tell people, this is who I am. They allow us to live the experience that other people during Carnival and Mardi Gras have in history. And they make Mardi Gras traditions more exciting and fantastical through color and art. So it's a real experience. So for this project, we're going to create our own Mardi Gras masks, and we'll begin construction on that next time we are in person. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to creating with you.